My Little Pony presents Glory the Magic Unicorn. Are you ready? Here we go. Have you ever felt sad for no particular reason? Sometimes, even on the nicest of days, it's possible to feel blue. Glory, the unicorn, was having a day just like that. Early that morning, she had wandered off from her friends, and as she walked along, alone, she thought to herself, "Sometimes it's just no fun being a magical creature in a real world. In fact, it even gets a little lonely. I wish, oh, how I wish I could be in another world, a magical world where I could feel at home." Hey, I know those three ponies in the background. That one's Blossom, that's Peachy, and that pink one right there is Cotton Candy. Now, you and I can make all the wishes we want, but unless we work hard at making our wishes come true, nothing will change. However, when you're a magic unicorn like Glory, you have to be very careful when you make a wish, because it's easy for unicorn wishes to come true. Glory was about to find this out the hard way, for the moment her wish to be in another world crossed her lips, a strange feeling came over her. As she looked around, the real world began to fade away. Every shiny spot, like dewdrops on the tall grass and pebbles in the stream, began to grow brighter. Then, in one crazy instant, the sky began spinning like a top. It spun so fast, all the colors blurred together as if someone had spilled a cup of water on a paint box. Glory felt dizzy as she gazed on in wonder. When the spinning stopped and Glory opened her eyes, she saw a most peculiar sight. The familiar landscape was gone. In its place was the strangest world you can imagine. It was a world filled with magic enough to answer anyone's wishes. The trees nearby were green and gold and covered with presents. Each flower bloomed in the shape of something sweet and wonderful to eat. Glory stopped next to a bush of cherry tarts and looked around, trying to get her bearings. "I must have wished awfully hard," thought the bewildered unicorn, "because my wish for a magical world seems to have come true." "It certainly did, Glory. It certainly did." Up ahead, at the end of a long tree-lined path, Glory saw a beautiful sight. There, shining in the sunlight, was a silver palace. Bright red and blue banners fluttered from its towers, and a steady stream of people were making their way in and out of the huge palace doors. "As long as I'm here, I may as well take a good look around," Glory decided. "After all, I've never seen a magic world before." So Glory started bravely down the path toward the strange silver palace. What a brave unicorn. To Glory's surprise, she was able to open the door and enter the palace with no problem. "I guess that in a magic world like this, people just take magic for granted." All around her, Glory saw signs that this was true. A farmer with a heavy cart of apples unloaded them all at once with a wave of his hand. A mother with a dirty child didn't need to scold the child, but rather snapped her fingers, and the child was clean again. Strangest of all was the old woman who floated up the front of her house and inside her second-floor window rather than walk up the steps. "My pony friends will never believe this," thought Glory in amazement. Suddenly, up ahead in the street, an old man appeared. His long blue robe and bushy white beard convinced Glory that she was about to meet a wizard. "Are you a good wizard or a bad wizard?" she asked. The wizard smiled. "Can you tell the difference?" he asked. "I don't know," replied Glory. "Well, in that case, it doesn't make very much difference which kind of wizard I am. With that, the wizard invited Glory to visit him in his chambers, and the foolish young unicorn accepted, which, as you will see, was a very silly thing for Glory to do. Uh-oh, that sounds bad. Let's keep reading and see what will happen. The wizard's chamber was dark, and Glory nearly tripped over his workbench cluttered with jars and bowls filled with all kinds of strange things. The moment she was inside, Glory heard the door slam shut behind her. She sensed danger, but it was too late. "Welcome, my pretty young unicorn," cackled the wizard in a voice that was nothing like the kind voice he had spoken in earlier. "It's been years since I've seen such a specimen. Unicorns are very rare, even around here." "What do you want?" stammered Glory in a frightened voice. "Merely the most valuable magic potion in all the world," said the evil wizard with a grin. "I want your horn." Her horn? And opening a book of spells, he began to chant, "Of all the treasures made or born, the rarest is the unicorn. And now by magic you are shorn. Behold, I now possess your horn." Oh dear. Glory tried to sound braver than she was feeling at that moment. "I'll bet your stupid spell didn't work on me, mean wizard," she cried. "Look in the mirror and see for yourself." Glory ran to the mirror, and what she saw brought tears to her eyes. Sure enough, her beautiful horn was gone. Now she doesn't look like a unicorn anymore. She looks like an earth pony. The wizard laughed as he pointed to the door and shouted at Glory, "Ha! I got what I wanted. Now be gone." Tearfully, Glory left the wizard's chamber and wandered through the long halls of the palace, sad and alone. "I thought it was bad to be magical in an ordinary world, but to be ordinary in a magical world is even worse." As she rounded a corner, Glory saw someone who looked even sadder than she did. There, by a palace window, sat a young boy gazing out at the bright world beyond. Glory walked up beside him and nuzzled his shoulder. "What's wrong?" she asked. "I thought I was sad, but you look even sadder." Seeing a friendly face, the young boy told Glory his story. "My name is Prince Rudolph, and this is my father's castle. Although I am very young, I have already discovered that it's not easy being different from others. Because my father is king, I cannot play with other boys, and people tell me only what they think I wish to hear, and not the truth." "I understand what it's like to be different," said Glory softly. "Now that the wizard has taken my horn, I have lost my magic. This makes me different from everyone else in your land, too." Prince Rudolph nodded. "My father's wizard Omar can be a rascal at times. He had no right taking your horn. Unicorns are special creatures and deserve our respect. But do not fear, Glory. I shall help you get your horn back. In that way, I'll be able to prove to everyone in the castle that I'm not just a spoiled child." "The wizard seems very powerful," said Glory. "Can we really get my horn back?" "Like everyone else, the wizard has his weaknesses," said the prince. "But if we come up with a clever plan, I'm certain we can do it." "That's the spirit, Rudolph." Later that day, Rudolph and Glory made their way to Omar's chamber. "You wait outside until I call your name," whispered the young prince to the unicorn as he turned the handle on the big wooden door and walked inside. Omar rose from his workbench and bowed to the prince. "I am honored, my prince," he said. "What brings you to this humble servant's chambers?" Rudolph was very clever. He had a story ready to fool the old wizard. "As you know, Omar," he began, "as prince I have everything I want, but there is one thing I'd like that even my father's power cannot bring me." "And what is that, child?" "Why, the moon, of course. I see it every night outside my window, but I cannot reach it. Use your magic, old wizard, and get the moon for me, or my father will be greatly displeased." "Well, the moon, you say? That is no small task." "But for a wizard as great and as powerful as you, Omar, even the moon must be in your reach, I am sure. Please, great wizard, do this small thing for me." "Small thing indeed," grumbled Omar. Then aloud he replied, "I shall have to fly about for a while and think about this. I do my best thinking while I am flying." "Glory, Glory, come quickly," called Rudolph as soon as the wizard had flown out the window. "We haven't a moment to waste." Let's turn the page and see what happens next. Glory ran outside as Rudolph shouted to her, "I've found the book of spells the wizard used when he stole your horn. Let me try this one. Spirits of darkness, spirits of light, you who were bid by the wizard's songs, do what is good, do what is right, place the horn of the unicorn where it belongs." In the twinkling of an eye, Glory's beautiful white horn reappeared on her forehead. She was magical once again. All right. Victory! By the time the wizard returned to his room, Glory and Rudolph were already outside the palace on a nearby hilltop. "How can I ever thank you for all your help, Rudolph?" asked Glory. "It is I who should thank you," said the prince as he stroked Glory's shiny mane. "When word spreads through the palace of how I tricked Omar, my people will view me in a new light. What a wonderful day it has been." Glory was seeing things in a new light too. Never again would she regret being different from the other ponies. Her magic made her special, and she liked that. Young Prince Rudolph waved goodbye as his new friend Glory, the magic unicorn, closed her eyes and wished herself home again. The end. Here's your first lesson. Never talk to strangers, because you just might not know if they are good or bad. And here's another lesson. You must be careful what you wish for. Very careful. And here's the last lesson. Never be ashamed of who you are. God made you just the way you are, and He loves you that way. So you should love yourself that way as well. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Psalm 139:14. So again, never be afraid to be who you are. Yourself is the most special you can be. See you later. Bye.